Let's jump right into this. If you're a young professional just stepping into your career, I've got a bit of an interactive mystery for you today. In this explainer, we're going to prove that building lasting wealth, well, it actually has absolutely nothing to do with getting lucky. It is strictly about the math. Okay, so I want you to imagine two identical 25-year-old college grads. We'll call them Emma and Daniel. Now, they're the exact same age, they land similar jobs, and they earn the exact same salary. But fast forward 30 years down the line, one of them retires with a portfolio worth over $2 million, and the other literally has almost nothing. So you gotta ask yourself, what was the secret? I mean, when we see a multimillionaire, our brains automatically want to search for some hidden trick, right? Like, did they get in early on some secret crypto? Did they find a hidden stock right before it exploded? Or, maybe they had a brilliant one-in-a-million business idea? Nope. The answer is actually something so mathematically simple that most people just completely ignore it. To figure out this millionaire's secret, let's test your intuition really quick. You've got a choice. Option A, I hand you $1 million in cold hard cash right now. Or option B, I give you a single penny today, but I double it every single day for 30 days. Which one are you going to take? Be honest. Most of us will absolutely jump at the $1 million because, well, our brains are hardwired to think in straight lines. But man, if you had the patience to choose that doubling penny, by day 30, that single cent has grown to over $10 million. No way, right? It sounds totally impossible. But that right there is the undeniable reality of exponential growth. It's a curve that looks, honestly, totally boring at first, and then suddenly, boom, it becomes completely unbelievable. And this brings us to the absolutely crucial point. This exponential growth. That's the real secret dividing our two young professionals, Emma and Daniel. It wasn't about who scored the bigger promotion, and it definitely wasn't about who had wealthier parents. It is entirely about the habit divide. Let's break down exactly how they're managing their money day to day. The practical difference here literally comes down to their daily habits. Emma's formula is simply income minus investing equals spending. She automatically invests 15% of her paycheck before she even sees it, and then she just spends whatever's left over. Daniel, on the other hand, his formula is income minus lifestyle equals zero. Every time he gets a raise, he upgrades his apartment or, books a bigger vacation. He plans to invest whatever is left over at the end of the month, but surprise, surprise, nothing ever is. Daniel is constantly mistaking earning a higher salary for actually becoming wealthy. But we have to remember this golden rule. Income isn't wealth, assets are. A massive paycheck means absolutely nothing if you aren't keeping any of it. Daniel might look super rich on the outside to all his friends, but Emma, she is quietly building a financial empire on the inside. So to really see how Emma's strategy is working, we need to quickly look at the math powering it, exponential growth. The technical definition is basically growth whose rate becomes ever more rapid in proportion to the growing total size. But let's translate that into human terms, shall we? It simply means the longer you leave your assets alone, the faster their growth drastically accelerates. Let's put this into perspective. Imagine you invest just $500 a month at an average 10% return. In year one, the growth is, well, it's incredibly tiny. It feels painfully slow, and honestly, you might kind of want to give up. By year 10, okay, it's starting to look a bit encouraging. But by year 30, it is literally life-changing growth. And here's the kicker. The vast majority of that final wealth wasn't created by your $500 deposits. It was created by the math doing all the heavy lifting in those later years. Time is the true secret variable here. Now, one of the absolute best ways to truly grasp the power of those later years is to totally reframe how you look at your money. I want you to think of your assets as a team of invisible, tireless employees. You are the CEO of your own life, and every single dollar you have is a worker you're sending out into the field. And let me tell you, your invested money is the best employee in the entire world. It works every single day, it never complains, it never asks for a vacation, and it literally never sleeps. And the best part, every single return those dollars make automatically hires another worker. Given enough time, this invisible workforce of yours grows so incredibly large that your portfolio starts producing more money on just a random Tuesday than your actual day job does. That is the hidden milestone of true wealth. If that still feels a little abstract, let's look at a phenomenon in nature that perfectly mirrors this exact timeline of wealth. It's known as the bamboo effect, and it is such a beautiful illustration of the psychology behind getting rich slowly. So picture this. For years, you water a Chinese bamboo seed. In year one, you look at it,
Absolutely no visible growth. Year 3, you're still watering it, still nothing. But what you can't see is that the plant is actually building this massive complex root system underground. Then, by year 5, boom, it suddenly shoots upwards several feet in just a matter of weeks. It's spent years building those invisible roots, which is exactly like a young professional's long-term investment portfolio. People only ever notice your financial success after the roots are already running deep.
Okay, so how do we take all this invisible math and actually apply it to your very first career role right now? Because let's be real, you definitely don't want to wait until you're 40 to figure all this out. We need a concrete, bulletproof system. So let's look at a simple playbook designed specifically for you. Here is your highly actionable checklist to get this automated journey started today. First, save consistently. Second, invest wisely. Third, give compound growth the time it desperately needs. And fourth, just repeat the process. Look, it isn't glamorous, and it's probably not going to trend on social media anytime soon, but you absolutely have to stop waiting until you make more money to begin. Start watering that bamboo today, even if it's just with a tiny drop of water. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final, absolutely vital question to ask yourself today as you look at your own habits. Are you chasing quick money, or are you building unstoppable math? Because the honest truth is, the wealthiest people in the world aren't necessarily the luckiest, and they definitely aren't all geniuses. They just simply understand the numbers, and they let that mathematics do all the heavy lifting for them over decades. So, what invisible roots are you planting today?